There. You might think I'm live, but I'm Memorex. How many of y'all remember that? Better yet, I'm talking to myself. Ain't nobody here yet. Oh. Oh. This late at night? Oh, well, I'll be damned. I'm sitting here talking to myself. Don't mind me. I'm about to say this late at night, nobody might show up. Grant, what's up, brother? Rolling Stone. I talked to somebody who sounded a lot like you today. Oh, damn. Give me a minute. Let me take my evening meds. Ah. Now. Just got parked up. Had leftover barbecue from Grandma's shindig. I got some cake back there in a minute. Y'all give me a second. I'll catch up on the messages. Howdy, everybody. I couldn't grab one of my trash bags today, and I've just been steadily trucking. So my trash ended up in my can without a bag. And that's something that drives me nuts. There's a reason God gave us plastic trees to make plastic bags. I just wish I could get the wife to grow some of them. Alright, let's see who we got on here. Oh, dadgum. Alright, I said howdy to Grant and Stone. Randall, how you doing, brother? Stone, no moss on this rock? Uh-huh. Wait a little bit. You'll get up there in the years. Howdy, TMB. Rico, what's going on? Scott, howdy. Was just about to hit the sack. We'll see how long you last. You sissy, you better stick it out. I tell you what. What up, David? Andrew, howdy. Grant, the package was shipped. Let you know when I get it. Well, cool, thank you. Everyone hit the like button if you haven't already. Well, thank you, Scott. Matthew, howdy. Oh, I tell you one thing. I'm real certain that by the end of this week, I don't want barbecue this weekend. Told you last week I was craving stew. I never got any. Did barbecue. Which it's hard to make me complain about barbecue, but I've done had about 3 meals of it since I left the house, and I've got 3 plus left back there. No, it is what it is. I'm sitting here in Marshall, that truck stop, that mom and pop's, the one I made the YouTube about, the video about, where I picked up the shirts. I ended up in the same place again tonight. Grandma told me not to buy any shirts. Them last ones didn't cover up all the real estate that she thought I should be covering up. I told her I was trying to be like some of these new kids, these wannabe gangbangers. She just ain't into all that. I don't get it. Oh, Rolling Stone, he's in his orientation. He almost got fired today over his driving. He thought he was driving a Tonka toy or something. Let's see. Do you sell a nice crock pot meal this weekend? I'm going to, too. So, Gangster Papa. So, I'm going to do something in that line. I just got a craving for some. Yeah, you don't get that many veggies out here, and I grew up eating a lot of veggies. And it's kind of like liver and onions. Every once in a while you just get a craving for it. So the problem with liver and onions, finding some place that knows how to cook it. That's one thing I can't cook, and I'll admit it. I don't do worth a damn on liver. So that little truck stop restaurant just up the road from us, if you get the right person in there, they cook it damn good. Get the wrong person, they cook it like me, and it tastes like crap. Let's see. Yeah, that ain't no lie, David. It don't matter. And see, that's why back in Georgia, when me and Mama was doing this, I'd be cooking during the week, and we would just or during the weekend, I'm sorry, and we would stock it up. I'd take some out, and every week I could open that freezer up, and I would have selection of different meals. I mean, shit, it damn near good to go to Walmart. So, yeah, I got to put my eyeballs on. Y'all are writing too small. You need to write bigger. When I come to Waco, you'd like to buy me a Mountain Dew and shake your hand. Well, I come through there every blue moon. It's just a matter of what your scheduling is like. You got the Flying Joke there, right there by Harley. I don't know how far you are from that, but now you're going to have to do better than that damn Yankee and his little sweetheart wife, Stormy. Now, we was putting together a rendezvous for tonight, and he blew it. When he got home, he left his phone in his duffel bag, and here I am calling him 3 different times, telling him that I'm almost there, and he never did answer, didn't call me back. I just kept on gassing on it. I mean, if you ain't answering the phone, I ain't stopping. Especially on days like today, I didn't have any time to waste anyway, but I was going to sacrifice 15, 30 minutes, say howdy. He's met me, we've met before, but me and his wife hasn't. She wanted to meet me. Well, I was going to sacrifice 15, 30 minutes, just say howdy and hug her neck, and that didn't play off. So I'll tell y'all now, if you ever want to meet with me like he's talking about on here, meeting him in Waco, I'll give it a shot if I have a little bit of time. But if you don't return calls or texts and stuff to me, I'm going to drive right on by. I ain't trying to be an asshole. It's trucking. I got a living to make. So, greetings from Las Vegas. Well, what's it? What is it they say? What happens here stays here. Oh, better be careful. No, I don't come to Kentucky no more. I quit over the road. This company created a spot for me to keep me on. Oh, excuse me. That pig wasn't done. I was done with OTR. I ran OTR with this company. And I told them I've had enough. I want to stay regional. So they created a spot for me to run regional. So I'm mostly Oklahoma and Texas, back and forth type thing, from the yard to down by the house. Once in a while I go over to Louisiana, that kind of stuff. So I must have made somebody mad. I done dropped about 7 of them. Ha ha. Tender little rascals. Let's see, Randall, I had a roommate with your name in school. Did you eat boiled peanuts in Georgia? No. I tried them. The wife and the kids, they liked them. I'm not into that boiled peanut stuff at all. I've never been a real big fan of peanuts, period. But that boiled peanuts, no, I didn't like it. I did try it. Well, God bless you, Stanley. YouTube superstar, uh-huh. I'm just me. That's the whole thing, is I'm just me, and that's a full-time job. Y'all think it's scary seeing me on YouTube. You already see me from the inside out. Oh boy, hang on. Oh, I got to come up with a video for my studying the Word tomorrow night. So I'm thinking about what I might do. I ain't decided yet. And I was pulling Stone's chain about harassing him there about his failing his driving today. He did good. Oh, I think he's bribing them is what I think. I think he's from one of them independently wealthy families, and all these great scores he's telling me about, either he's lying to me or he's patting somebody's pocket. Oh, that means he must be from a political family. Do y'all know of any Stones in politics? He might be kin to them. Oh, let's see. That's what I like about you. You're real. I know I am too, because I stepped on a damn roofing nail and it gouged my foot. I didn't need to be pinched. That shit told me I was real. I said, oh man. Stone, you know I'm going to pick on you, brother. Somebody's got to do it. You might as well get used to it. How about the new generation, how they are with God? They're not with God. That's the problem. That is the problem. And I still lay down the hippies' doorstep from back in the 60s. I can't help it. They started us a lot of trouble. I watch your videos on stopping smoking. What made you go back? It's called life. Just out here in the truck. Money issues, life issues, being a sissy. You know, sometimes I'm weak too. This is one hell of an addiction right here. Somebody told me in one of the comments that they had read that nicotine is more addictive than heroin. Now, I've thought about that a little bit today, and they could be on something. I know Coca-Cola's mad at me. I told them Coke was bad for you, liquid rock or powdered. And they ain't got no sense of humor at them Coke places, I can tell you that. They need to lighten up a little bit. Now be honest, how many of you ever used the old Coke to clean your battery terminals? And did you know that you can use it to clean your bumper? If you got an old rusty bumper and stuff, you can use Coca-Cola. They got so damn much acid in it, it eats the rust off of it. That's a fact. Oh. What's funny, David? It is a huge problem. Stone must be talking about all the money he's got. Man, if your money is that much of a problem, send it to me. I'll help you out. That ain't a problem. I told y'all he was independently wealthy. Oh yeah, I take it the me's and me's is from using Coca-Cola to clean your terminals. It works. Oh, you use Pepsi too? I ain't never tried Pepsi. Venom and Sting, good evening, and how are you today? I'm just hunky-dory. If it was too bad of a day, I wouldn't be on here today. So, I'm already learning that when I'm being a grumpy old fart, I don't need to make videos or do live streams. People get their feelings hurt too easy. Oh, what I said about the nail? Well, that was a true story, dude. Monday morning, me and Grandma was walking around. I got her that little welder for her birthday. And one of the videos of the house, you see that big blue bin where we've been putting scrap metal in it until we figured we'd take it to the scrap metal yard. And I was telling her, You know, because she's like, I don't know what I'm going to weld, blah, blah, blah. You know, we've got a few yard art things that she's going to tack up, but she's like, what am I going to do after that? And I said, baby, there's a whole damn stack of what am I going to weld out there. So we walked out there, and I started pointing stuff out and giving her some ideas. And while we was walking around, I did step on an old rusty roofing nail, and it hurt. Either it hurt or I'm a sissy or both, but yeah, it didn't turn red or nothing, so, and my jaws ain't locked. I must be good. Let's see. Just fueled up there in Edinburgh, Arizona. Been there, done that. Oh, goodness. I have seen my share of this fine country. And I'll tell you what, good Lord blessed us with some beautiful country. Now, that was one of my pet peeves when I was riding. I used to love riding the northern plains, going up through the Badlands and stuff. At the right time of year. Wintertime, I didn't like it so much. I still did it, but it wasn't near as pretty, and I wasn't liking it near as much. But I've always had a very active mind, which brings up another pet peeve. I'm one of these that when you ask somebody, what are you thinking? You know, the wife was bad about it. We'd be riding along and had quit talking, you know, just riding in silence. And I'd ask her, baby, what are you thinking about? Nothing. I'm like, how do you think about nothing? I would honestly love to think about nothing. I would love for my mind to just shut down for a little bit. It don't do it. My mind's constantly going. And I'd get up there riding, and I'm looking at all these gullies and how rough that land is. And, you know, away from the highway. And I'm like, man, our forefathers crossed this stuff. And if you know anything about the wagon trains, sometimes they did good to make a mile a day. Now, some days they got 20. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, those was some tough old folks right there come across this stuff. So I'd grab the old CB mic. I'd make some comment about, does this make you respect our forefathers? They had to cross this stuff in a horse or mule-drawn wagon or whatever. And so many of them, now all I see is this highway, and it's a long one. But dude, you need to lighten up and look around you a little bit. I think it's Nebraska, and I think it's on the eastbound side. Yeah, it's on the eastbound side, about halfway across. I think that's on 80. There's a rest area. When you stop and you look out behind the bathrooms and the buildings, you'll see some rings, just metal rings standing up out there. We'll walk out there sometime and read the plaques as you go. I don't remember if I made a video about that one or not. I may have. I think I did. But there's still ruts in the ground from so many wagons rolling across there on the move west. And it's like, man, it just blows me away. So... but that's that active mind and got to know. Got to know. Let's see. Oh, a Dart ad for Papa Joe. Ah, okay. I can't wait to see it. This country is definitely beautiful. You got to have an open mind, Stone. And when I first started, I had a little experience. You ain't even got your own truck yet. I'll drive for that guy out of Chicago I was telling you about, when I was knocking out 4,000 to 6,000 miles a week. And he kept trying to tell me, you need to slow down. You're going to burn out. You need to slow down. And I was just getting it so hard that willingly. I was pushing me. He wasn't pushing me. Hell, he'll try to slow me down. And I didn't take time to stop and look at some of the stuff. So learn from my mistake and slow down a little bit. You ain't got a choice. You ain't got a truck like the ones we was driving back then. I know who you're going to drive for, and your truck won't do what we was doing. Is there anywhere you haven't been in a truck? Alaska and Hawaii. I wouldn't mind driving to Alaska, but that drive to Hawaii, I smoke too much. I can't hold my breath that long. What up, Paul? Been watching the movies with the wife. Well, I bet you it was on the Man Abuse channel too, wasn't it? Tell the truth. You was over there on that women channel. Oh, drive my wife crazy when I call that Men Abuse channel. Who's the bad guy? It ain't always a bad guy. I said, right. Alright, what am I missing here? I'm going back up. You and Sensapella. Oh, a Dart ad for Papa Joe. I'm lost on that. I'm not, I guess that's something I'm missing out on. Let's see. Hey, those frontier men were real deal. It wasn't just the men. The women was some pretty hardy. Women had a shorter lifespan than men. It was so hard on the women. I mean, you got to give them some credit. They was doing the deal themselves, and a lot of times they was having to do it without the men, because the men were out doing what men do, you know, the cattle drives, hunting food or hunting fur to, you know. Them women was there raising his Paso kids. Sometimes if you read in history, it seems like the men came around about once a year just to get her pregnant, and then he left. And it's like, damn. Sure ain't like that now. We got to stay around and pay for them. What are my thoughts on the California Bible ban? I haven't heard about it, but if they're trying to ban the Bible, I don't like it. Period. That stepping on so many rights there, it's pitiful. See, 12 watching, 8 likes, not good enough. If you haven't hit the like button, please do it. Scott, you're all over that for me, brother. Thank you. Let's see. He might have my same name, but I bet he ain't as good looking as I am. Oh, see, I know that's a truck driver. He's already starting to tell them stories. But this is your story. You tell it, man. Let's see. What up, Sean? Oh. See, I knew you was over there. At least he's admitting it. Oh. My dispatch doesn't really give you time to stop and check stuff out. Thought I did go down a gorgeous road. I think it was 19th through Tennessee. Downhill, hills around you, waterfalls, so peaceful. Don't even mind it was 50 miles per hour. Your dispatcher ain't going to give you time, dude. Especially now that we're in the electronic logs and stuff. I was just having to have that conversation again today with somebody else where they was blaming their dispatcher, and I'm like, it ain't dispatcher. It's them brokers. Most of the time. Now, there are some companies that set up your appointments, but usually it's a broker. He doing well, Paul. Did well enough on a road test to earn a trainer today. Well, now, if he'll be honest about it, the guy felt sorry for him and said that he really needed some special attention. And he says, I'm one of the best trainers, and damn, you need a lot of help. No, I'm pulling his chain, folks. No, that ain't it. Every blue moon grandma does. Here of late, she hasn't, not for the last year or so. Since I'm getting home every weekend, she really don't want to. You know, she's got her 2 little fur babies, and we got a lot of plants that she has to water every other day, and we've got Lakota coming around working, and now as long as I'm coming home every weekend, she's good at staying home. So she's still trying to get us settled in. I ain't gonna lie, we had stuff in storage for so long, and she's still trying to just get her house organized and go through stuff. I'm fine with that. I finally got her to start going through her closet. You know, I think she had stuff from back when she was a teenager. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you know, one day I might get in this again. Baby, that's a size 4. I don't think so. Well, that got me cut off for the rest of my life. Oh. It's your bedtime. All right, go to bed. Nobody cares. And remember, I do care, though. You need to change that name and let me know when you do. You can change it to only Papa Joe cares. Oh. You thinking someone paid off the company? I am too. I think you got kinfolk into politics or something. Didn't expect to get time, though, once in a while. I'd love to have an hour or two to go see something. Well, see, and that's the problem in these trucks. You can't get in anywhere. All you can go see is a damn truck stop. Unless you get a rental car, and that's such a pain in the butt. That is one of the things that drives me nuts. That's why my dad decided to do hot shot, delivering those campers and stuff after he retired out of one of these things. And I was asking, you making any money? He said, nope, ain't making nothing. He says, but it pays for my fuel to drive around to all the places that said no trucks. So he went and seen all them. Yeah, I've seen that rocket launch thing too. I used to drive in Florida a lot. That is awesome. Yeah, the recruiters tell you it's like being paid. Paid tourist, right. Used to go to Dodge City to see if I could meet Marshall Dillon to ask him if he hung his head at Miss Kitty's. I think he would have shot you. Oh. Well, I got a feeling maybe. I'm reading Stone's comments. He's whining about somebody paid off the company and he didn't make no money off of it. Actually, that's a good idea if you have your motorcycle endorsement. Them little scooters, if you get a little street scooter like you see a bunch of them on, every state's got different laws about those. So personally, if you have your own truck or you know you're going to be in your truck or your company will let you, a little Honda 250, you know, and work it out where you can put it up behind the sleeper. Make sure your trailer's going to make the turns right. Well, being a Honda, you could get one of them front mounts for it. Don't ever put a Harley up there. A real Harley rider will shoot you over that shit. They don't like that at all. Well, I understand. I hope you enjoy it. Seeing the country there, what I'm talking about. It's and all you new drivers, let me tell you now, don't be some of these that wuss out and refuse to go up into the snow in the north and all that. There's enough of us old timers that's paid our dues that we don't want to go up there no more. But remember I was telling you about hitting the Northeast and hitting all them cities and getting your experience? Well, that's some of it there too. Uh, Going through your training right now, like a couple of you are, there's pros and cons to that. You know, now you're getting trained, so you're not totally green and you got dry roads for the most part. However, you're not going to have a trainer there with you the first time you start driving on snow and ice. That can get a little bit tricky at times. Don't mind me. Uh, do you know what your biggest fear risk is on the snow and ice? In all honesty, I'm going to wait and let a couple of you new ones put up an answer there. Because I do want to know where your head is. Let's see what we got going on. New Hampshire is gorgeous. Like, I wouldn't mind moving there. I wouldn't want to move there, but I tell you now, you get up there in that Northeast, and I'll tell you what surprised me when I was a new driver. That was driving through New York. How many mountains? They've got a lot of country in New York. That totally blew me away, and it was beautiful. I was like, wow. I'm a typical hillbilly. When you say New York to me, I think of New York City. And that's what all the New Yorkers say is, no, that just, if it had the anatomy of a body, you know what part that one would be. You got to experience it. No, Stone ain't even driving yet, man. He ain't even out with a trainer yet. He's in orientation. He just finished school last week. He's in orientation. Monday he takes off with his trainer. And he was telling you the truth. I was yanking his chain a while ago. He did go out on his driving test today for orientation. And the guy that took him out pulled him aside and told him, or asked him, he said, you want to go out with me? You're doing damn good. I'd like to take you out and make you a damn good driver. I told him that's a compliment. If they yank him aside and want to train. So we had a long Papa Joe lecture today about his behavior issues out there on the road. Meaning to keep his mouth shut and his ears open and learn. Don't go out there with a I know attitude. All that drives me crazy. So we have the potential of a good driver out of that young man. We'll see. Go experience the ice and the mountain patch. Cabbage Patch is a blast. You're grabbing your pants the first time out solo. You're exactly right, Stone. That was exactly what I'm talking about. Is you've got these hot dogs out there that they get on that snow and ice and they get thinking they're all that in a cup of coffee, and they get driving too fast on it. Oh, excuse me. And then they wind up messing up. And if you're lucky, they won't take out any other people with them. However, now they're fixing to tie the highway up with this accident. Now everybody got to stop and sit here. So, okay, nobody got hurt except maybe the idiot. And now the roads are getting even worse. You're sitting still. Hard to get started. How many of you experienced drivers have been out there in that situation, and then when they get the road supposedly opened, you can't move. Everybody's sitting there spinning out. I did that right there in Tennessee on Jellicoe. That exact same happened to us on Jellicoe. Wiggle wagon, hauling butt too fast and got all jacked up. By the time they got a wrecker around there to get him out of it, none of us could move. We just sitting there spinning and sliding. So that's the kind of nonsense you got to worry about, is that hot dog. That's why if you're ever out there around it and I'm around you and you see one of them hot dogs, you're going to hear a cranky old man on there fussing at them. It normally don't do any good, but it makes me feel better. Snow and ice. The other drivers freak me out more than anything. That's a fact. Black ice will come out of nowhere. Got to drive to conditions. Actually, black ice don't come out of nowhere. If you're paying attention to your surroundings and what's going on, our old little trick that we used to use is that when you start forming ice on your mirrors or start icing up on your windshield, if you start seeing ice on the other vehicles, you have road wash that the big trucks throw up, which is just a spray. When that starts disappearing, when any or all of these conditions, that's when you're worried about black ice. So no, it don't come out of nowhere. You just have to be prepared and watching for it. Once again, that's just an old man's opinion. Yep, New York was beautiful. Oh, not too bad. Going hard to stop. I had a car turn sideways in front of me on a bridge towards the end of winter. You better listen, Stone. See, I've got a whole bunch of them now that's watching you. You see how many's called you out tonight? Uh-huh. This is just like the neighborhood watch. You know, when you was a younker and you'd go outside and every mother on the block had the right to beat your ass? They're going to be watching you, youngin'. Yeah, that ain't no lie, Paul. Stone, don't listen to the super truckers. Since Spezia, I had a nasty wreck. One almost killed me, actually. I was hauling lumber, and it stopped right here beside my head, all because of a four-wheeler pulling out in front of me. It didn't turn sideways, but little old lady. I've told that story somewhere on here. Well, you might have grew up in it. It's going to be a whole different experience with a big truck. Because believe it or not, the action you get out of this truck is a lot different than what you got out of your car. So, how do you hit a bridge in the snow? Snow and ice. There, Stone. What's the golden rule for how you hit a bridge? Boy, he thinks awful strongly of himself. Thinks he's got all his nuts and bolts tight. See, now you get out of here after listening to people like me, and they'll be saying, there's a loose screw behind the wheel right there. That guy there, Stone, he's the loose screw behind the wheel. You are correct. You never use your cruise. Well, I don't use my cruise in the rain. Okay, and you said wet or ice. All right, we're on the same page. Back of your mirror and no spray coming from tires is how I judge it. And the temperature, of course. Yeah, see, nowadays we've got this idiot light in here that tells you what the temperature is outside, which ain't foolproof, but, and I can't help it. I'm old school, dude. I'm still watching them mirrors, and I'm still watching that damn traffic. I like watching it go the other way. It's too hard to tell in your mirrors at times if you or the other one is throwing it up. So I watch traffic going the other way. All right, David. Good night, sissy. Brother. Uh-huh. Some of them be kicking you in the butt if you ain't listening. All right, brother. I know I was running late tonight, Randall. Good night. You are correct, Stone. You let off the throttle and you ease onto the bridge and you ease off of the bridge. You gas on it a little bit if it's a long bridge in between the two. And that's simply because the way them bridges bounce, if you bounce just right and you're gassing on it, and them tires are accelerating, then when it comes back down, it will spin out and that ass end of the truck is going that way. So now you're looking at the side of your trailer over here, and that ain't good. And that's also how you should be hitting them bridges when you have a partner sleeping in the back. So remember that when your trainer crashes out back here, you need to be easing on and off of those bridges as well, by the same token. I used a different truck recently. That was the Wingman system. I don't normally have cruise control, so I'm taking advantage of it. Car merged in and my truck braked itself hard. Oh, you got one of them trucks. One of them trucks about got me quit this company, and then they put me in this old one, which is like a 16. It's really old, right? But it ain't got all that garbage on it. Let's see. No Jake brakes in the rain either. That's a true story right there. I don't use the Jake brakes on this new Peterbilt. I just don't like the Jakes on it at all. And I thought I would never see the day that I was driving around without Jake brakes. I was one of them that y'all cussed. On that old W9, I had my straight pipes, and I loved the sound of them Jakes, buddy boy. Oh, they sound good. And let me get out there in the mountain passes where it says no Jake brakes, I'd try to cause an avalanche. I ain't gonna lie. I was an outlaw. I used Jake brakes in a no Jake brake zone. So, yeah, I love my Jake brakes, but in this thing, I can't stand them. There's just two or three little things about them that I don't like. I don't like how they set. I just don't like them. So I don't use them. It takes an extreme hill for me to even turn them on. You use your Jakes in the light rain, but watch my trailer extra hard. Once again, I don't. And even when I was out there doing the real trucking in that old W9 and doing all the crazy stuff, bad weather, no cruising, no Jake. No, you shouldn't have to watch your Jake brake on that icy bridge because you shouldn't have it on. You all the technology in the world and we can't get a bridge to meet a road even, no doubt. Hey, the railroad tracks are doing a lot better. Now give them some kudos. They've been going all over the country fixing those. Joe, where are you going tomorrow? Forgot to ask you. Besides Insane, I'm going into Houston. I'm going to make a delivery of one of my regular customers down there. Then I'm going to make a pickup just outside of one of my regular customers there, which will leave me about 11 miles from Grandma. So I'm probably going to just tell her, come on up there and have lunch with me up there at the truck stop. So that's about how I see it going. I'm assuming when you're saying the Wingman, is that nonsense on the sides that tell you that there's a car there, or you turn on a damn signal light and it wants to tell you that there's a bridge over there at Lano? That was the reason that, and see, the hell of it is, all the trucks that he's buying now has got all that garbage. This is one of the last few ones, and he'll probably supposed to be traded in this fall or something. And that's when we're going to have problems again. I don't want it. I totally understand if they have it for new drivers and all that. I understand if they've had somebody that's had issues, tickets, accidents, and all that. I understand having that system on. But I've been out here damn near 30 years, well over 25 years. I got a pretty good record. I don't need it. And we're, what are they calling themselves? And it's a guy, I remember that from the other night. Since failed us. Or census failed us. Like they said, that sucker will slam on the brakes on you in a heartbeat over nothing. When the wife was riding with me when I was trying that out, was out in the middle of nowhere. No bridges, no trees, no nothing. And that thing slammed on the brakes, and she looked at me and said, "You do that?" And I said, "Nope. Truck did that." Now, she's not a driver. And she said, "Damn, good thing it wasn't icy, huh?" And I said, "Uh-huh." You know? And then I thought mine was the only one doing it. But I was talking to a couple other drivers on the phone, and I heard theirs go off. And out of the blue, for no reason, it's making weird noises out of these speakers up here. And I'm like, mine does that. What is that? I don't know. There ain't nothing around. There ain't no towers. There ain't nothing. Ain't got a clue. Obama was still in office then. I said, must be Obama trying to communicate. No. Well, the right Jakes do. And nowadays, can you believe that? We've gone from, just like cell phones, you know. When they started with cell phones, they kept trying to get them as small as possible, and now they're trying to make them as big as possible. Same thing with Jakes. We used to try to get them as noisy as possible. Now they're wanting them quieted down. I've seen that in an ad. I think it was a Volvo ad. Oh, excuse me, for big trucks. And they were saying a Jake brake that would make the sourest of DOT officers smile. Really? I don't want to make him smile. I want to make that hat blow off his head. Well, Mikey, you did catch me, you lucky rascal. Here I is. Hot dog. Little Crack. He's asked me how Little Crack was today. It wasn't all bad. I had to make my delivery. They closed at 5. And I'd called them earlier, and they was going to get out of there at 4. And I said, well, dadgum, my paperwork said till 5. Well, okay, we'll leave somebody here. And they did have somebody there. I got there at 10 to 5. It took a minute to get it off because it wasn't a regular person knowing how to handle it. So about 5:20 I took off, and a little bit of slow traffic getting out on 30. It wasn't nothing to complain about. Light rain, misty stuff is one thing. But when you start throwing up a spray and you see others throwing up a spray, that's what we're talking about, because that's when you know the road is wet. You have water on the road. A light morning mist or dew and types, that ain't so bad. But I had an old Freightliner. I was driving for that guy out of Chicago. I did not like that truck. I was still new, and there was a little bitty old hood on it. But it was a hood. Now, you got to remember, when I started, we was all starting in cab overs, or most of us was. And this was my first hood. Now, the bunk, it was so small, all it was a bunk. You literally was sitting here with your feet between, your legs between the chairs to put your clothes on and stuff. And no, we didn't have the wraparound curtains and all that. Hell, everybody was just showing off everything to everyone. You know, it was one of them deals. But that little thing, it had pretty good jakes on it. It had straight pipes on it. And they weren't curved or nothing. They were true straight pipes. And I had stopped and slept, and it had rained during the night. And I woke up. There's this old boy parked beside me, and he'd been there when I'd backed in. And back then, we didn't take 10-hour breaks and stuff. You took 4, 5, 6. If you was really lazy, you might take 8 like you're supposed to. I got up, I'm looking around, shaking the cobwebs out. I get ready to fire this thing off, and this old boy's pulling up. Yeah, as he's pulling up, he's telling me, well, wait a minute. Yeah, he pulled all the way up. I busted her off, and I mean the black soot went everywhere. He knew what time it was. After the black soot quit flying, he backed back in, and I pulled on out. Yeah. He didn't want his pretty rig all nastied up. Oh. What up, Aaron? You got a bunch of safety videos that are probably a real good thing for me to pay attention to. You better get to bed. Alright, Stone. Put your little baby butt in bed. We'd hate for you to fail and blame us. It ain't our fault. Oh. Give them hell, brother. I'm proud of you. There you go, Paul. The collision system that detects vehicles in front of you and changes your cruise control speed for the safe following distance. I guess it breaks itself if it gets too close. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah, it will. It'll go off guardrails and stuff. It'll go off on shadows of bridges. Me and the wife was shooting the bull, and these trucks run 70, 72. And I had the cruise set. We're cruising, you know, we're just eating it up, easing on along, shooting the breeze. I look down, I'm doing 62. I'm like, what the hell? Well, it turned out that I'm getting up on this 62-mile-an-hour truck, and I wasn't even close enough to pull over in the left lane. I'm watching it. I see it. But this thing just slowed, no, not literally this truck, but it literally slowed itself down and started pacing that other truck. Oh, it drove me nuts. So, there's a lot I don't like about these new electronic computerized trucks. Oh yeah, that whole electronic system is crazy. And you'll figure it out as you go along. You're gonna hear a bunch of us complaining on deals like this. Then you're going to experience it yourself and say, oh, okay. Ah. Alright, get back on there. Won't be too long, I'm going to be bugging out on you. Associating with all these little sissies would make me turn into one. That auto brake thing, I'm surprised we're not already hearing about wrecks during the winter over it. When I'm forced into one of them new trucks again, me and the owner's going to have to talk about having all that stuff turned off. I mean, I'm sorry. I think I have a proven track record, and that track record should say that I don't need all that nonsense. I talked to the owner today a little bit. I had to turn and burn, but he walked out there and we talked for a few minutes. And that driver of ours that wrecked, it's not official yet, but he said that it sounded like the guy had a heart attack. The one that wrecked down there in Arkansas. So it's a crying shame, but it happens. Oh. Me too, Paul. And them little local cops hated us too. Yeah, I was back in the day. Nowadays they'd bury you. Excuse me. There you is. Been watching your videos and seen you are a Marine and I am a devil dog. Well, Semper Fi, brother. Thank you for your service. Welcome home. Chicken holler. I had my rubber chicken. Did you? That old boy out of Chicago. He said, damn, I didn't think I'd ever see a chicken on my truck. Well, now, actually, if you know what you're doing, if you have a Super 10 or you're having certain issues with your truck, shifting with your jakes on is the way to do it. With the Super 10, when they first came out, you had to run around with your jakes on low because the motor and whatnot, it didn't let the RPMs come down quick enough. So to shift with your jake on low was the only way you could shift it in any reasonable manner. Yes, sir. Mine was hanging out the back, out that little door. Oh, a Super 10? You never heard of a Super 10? Well, I don't know how to explain it to you. Oh. Had to have the rubber chicken. Yep. Thank you for your sacrifice and welcome home to you as well, Papa Joe. Well, thank you, brother. God bless you. Oh, man. I'm either going to have to get longer arms or figure out how I can... I wish this thing was going off of the tablet up there. Do your Google search on a Super 10. Basically, a Super 10 was a 5-speed that you split it on the fly. In other words, you'd be here and let's just start with first, which you never use. You'd start with first, and then when you go to second, you just hit that button on your gear shift. Then when you wanted to go to third, you'd flip it down and you'd come back into third. When you wanted fourth, you'd just flip the button. It cut out half of your clutching and nonsense. And once you learn, if you know how to float gears, once you learn the trick of the jake brake on there, Super 10 was sweet. A lot of drivers didn't like them because they had trouble shifting them. They didn't know that they needed to shift them with the jake brake on low. Oh. You got a Super 10? Cool. And it ain't all bad one. Now, do you shift it with your jakes on low? Or have I had this? I've told somebody since I had a YouTube about it. Was that you or someone else? Yep. Like a 13, but a 10-speed. Well, I prefer my 18-speed, boys and girls. I ain't gonna lose. I ain't gonna lie. Silly Billy, what's up? Well, I can't do it going down the road. My truck's too noisy. I got one of these new plastic Peterbilts. This ain't a real Peterbilt. This is one of the plastic ones. And you talk about a noisy truck. They forgot about, I thought Peter Cars and Kenworth was some of the most tight, secure, non-squeaking, rattling things there was, but this one, oh hell no. But yes, I am enjoying the live feed. I'm still trying to monitor what it's doing to my data, because I already have like 50 gigabyte of data that I've had to keep increasing it for this YouTube stuff, and I can't afford to go up anymore. My phone bill is about $350 a month right now the way it is, and no, don't tell me to get on one of their local plans and get the all-you-can-use stuff for free. That's a crock of bull. I tried it. They switched me over. One of their little sweet-talking individuals thought they was going to do me a favor and switch me over. And as soon as I got past 2.5 gigabytes, it went so slow it was taking 5 and 6 hours to upload a video. And they didn't like me for a minute. But I got my old data plan back. Oh. You was trained on a Super 10. Hell, Super 10s weren't even out when I was trained. Had a freight shaker with a 15 where you bump the dash, right? Watch out, I'm going in the big hole. Alright, I'm coming out of the big hole. Up, going back in the big hole. Watch out. Oh. Well, cool. I'm happy for you. Do you use 50 megabytes or whatever a month? Are you uploading a ton load of videos and doing live streams and all that stuff? And I use it too. Once in a while I have a little bit of rollover, not very often. And I'm not one of these to do the Wi-Fi at McDonald's and pilots and I don't do that. In this day and age of these technology thieves, oh no. I'd rather, mine's a write-off anyway. So I'll use it for a write-off. But folks, I'm fixing to call it a night. Anybody got any questions they want answered right quick, or anything you want me to make up an answer to? Yep. That's because they got so many people using it, is my opinion. I could be wrong. I always do my post trip. I'm here to tell you. Oh, I do my pre-trips and my post-trips. What I'm bad about, and they're saying that this summer on the 70 hours, that DOT is going to be concentrating on our electronic logs. And what I'm bad about is, like today, I got to the yard and I had to turn and burn to make some time. So, I did what I had to do with the trailers and DEF, and I hauled butt, and I did not put in the new data information, for this load until I stopped tonight. So I was running around basically 10 hours today with the wrong information in that, and I got a feeling that's the kind of stuff they're going to try to nail us on. They're not going to worry about whether you're on the drive line and if you've gone over there. Now, I doubt if they're going to worry about that. I think it's going to be more the little fine details that you'll have a tendency to blow off, like putting in the proper load information at the right time. So I've got to start doing that better. And I thought about that early this morning, and then I did the same thing as always, grabbed the load and went. Oh. Yep, I post-trip when I'm pre-trip. Oh. Actually, there was a company I drove for that they had us doing it backwards like that. And I didn't say I post-trip on a pre-trip or pre-trip on a post-trip. I said I post-trip and pre-trip. There was an and in there. Not a win, an and. Started driving in 2006. The Super 10s came out in the late 90s. Yeah, mid to late 90s is when they first started trickling out. So about the time you was coming on, they were starting to perfect them, but they was also coming out with these automatics. Now these automatics, when they started, they was a nightmare. They created a lot of traffic jams. They was mostly having trouble with reverse for some reason. They'd get locked up in reverse and you couldn't do nothing with them. And the worst thing is these rookie drivers they had, they didn't know how to drive backwards, so they was totally beat. It's usually in June. I ain't sure when it is this year. Good night, Paul. She's telling you it's time to come to bed. Well, if Mama's telling you to come on, you better come on. And thank you for telling them to hit the like button. Oh. What started on in 96? About the time they were starting with them Super 10s. And I was saying the mid-90s to the late 90s. I'm thinking it was closer to the mid-90s when the Super 10 started coming out. Then the automatics started coming out, what? Now, Grant's been out here like me forever. I think the automatic started real late 90s. Yeah. Well, I know they was out in 99. I'm thinking that first one I drove, I'm thinking that was about 96 or 97. And they'd been out a couple years then, I know. Or anyway, I'd heard of them. Oh, goodness. Grant, I put up a good Christian video this morning you need to watch, buddy. Excuse me. I don't drink a whole lot during the day while I'm driving for obvious reasons. I get a little dehydrated. It was 8 and 10s. You could drive 10 hours, and it didn't matter what you was doing in that 10 hours. You had 10 hours, and you had to take an 8-hour break. Good night, Census Failure. Pleasure talking to you. Maybe one day we'll meet. Excuse me. I do a video on my daily updates. I don't do it every day, but pretty close. Just jumping on whenever the first opportunity, and I basically tell y'all what direction I'm heading, so just give me a shout out. You can always go into my Facebook wall and send me a message if it will tell me. I check them just almost every time I stop. I'll check my different messages. So there's a chance I got hold of you. But good night. Oh, I thought you went back today. No, that's right. You was off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You should have carried your lazy butt in tonight. You're off to North Kakalaki, huh? From Michigan. Well, Michigan's a good place to get out of. Oh, North Kankalaki's some pretty country up that way too. But boy, their traffic's starting to get terrible up there. Well, boys and girls, this has been going on for over an hour now. And it's time for the old man to wind down and call it a day. So, with that, I'm going to sign off of here. Y'all remember to hit the likes for me if you haven't hit the like. Tell people about my channel. Help me grow a little bit. And of all things, remember, the good Lord loves you. Even if you don't hit my like button. But I'll love you a little bit more if you hit my like button. He loves you regardless. Y'all have a blessed evening now. Let's see what I got. Heck no, need my time off. I'm old. You ain't old, you puppy. Good night, Mikey. Joseph, you just came on. What's happening, man? I watch some of your videos sometimes. I've read the whole Bible, by the way. Well, good. In order, I'll post a link that will change your life and get you to a level higher than 99% of the people if you put in the 500 hours I did. Well, cool for you, bro. But I was just signing off anyway.